Good morning, guys. Today will be a review of On Spiritual Combat by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. YouTube does not push my videos or pretty much anybody's. Even if you're subscribed and hit the bell notification, you actually have to go to my channel manually yourself to find the videos and watch them. So if you like what you're seeing here, the information that I provide, the philosophical essays, the cerebral content, the book reviews, etc., you're going to have to manually go to my YouTube channel and find the videos. I post new videos every day, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the video essays in particular. I was going to do this yesterday as I finished reading the book prior to that, and I usually review the books immediately after finishing reading them because it's fresh in my mind. And you know, this isn't just for you guys, it's also for me. With these book reviews, I will actually at some point go back to the videos that I recorded and refresh myself on what I read several years in the future, because it really doesn't matter if you read something if you don't actually absorb it. Now this happens on a conscious and a subconscious level. It's the immersion therapy that is the psychological layering that builds you into who and what you are. Stuff that you don't even consciously remember, but you know you've already tapped into. But even so, you go back to that later on, and it all comes back even better. I wrote an essay on this, a review, if you will, which I try to do now after reading every book so that I have something good to give you guys. But here's what I wrote. On Spiritual Combat is a great supplement to any spiritual teachings the young warrior seeks to endeavor upon. It is not very complicated, adequately and appropriately repetitive, mantra-like, and straightforward. It has a strong emphasis on putting on the full armor of God and embodying the sheepdog mentality, following the great shepherd and protecting the flock. A sheepdog has a simple, loyal, unfailing, unconditional love, perfectly defining the military man. We protect the flock and will sacrifice ourselves to rid the threat of the wolf. We understand the shepherd's words, even if not perfectly. This is perfect for the book's target audience, the brand new physical and spiritual warrior, the military man and woman, 18 to 20 years old. It is part of a valuable, lifelong educational process to build experience and wisdom, not simply rote memorization. Therefore, for the target audience, it gets a strong recommend. For the seasoned spiritual warrior, it is a great supplement to aid in spiritual immersion education, as well as a great refresher, and therefore gets a high recommendation. For the spiritually curious, it will have a fair amount of foreign terms and concepts, but if you can go in with humility, it will be very valuable to you as well. Now, as I said, where I stand in this is I'm fairly seasoned as what I would call a spiritual warrior, right? I'm no pro necessarily, but I'm relatively educated in these things. So what I mean by spiritual immersion is essentially what I said just a minute ago. These are things that are going to layer upon your psychology over time. They're going to build up and build up until eventually they produce a psychological, spiritual, emotional inertia that leads you to making proper, appropriate decisions going forward. Maybe reading 10 books like this will make you, instead of deciding to go for the death penalty, if you're in such a position to make that decision, instead to go towards life in prison. Or if you're some type of judge in the Uniform Code of Military Justice, the UCMJ, it'll help you make a better decision to determine what to do with a on-trial airman. For example, it is Blackstone's formulation, and it's biblically founded, that it's better for 10 criminals to go free than for one innocent man to be persecuted and put into prison or executed or anything like that. It's that type of mentality. But at the same time, compassion for criminals is abuse to the innocent. You have to do that justice and mercy balance in your mind, and this book helps you better determine that. You get that not just through the concepts, but also through the case studies, through the experiences. And there's a lot of case studies in this book. It's very good for that. This is why they do case studies so extensively in psychology as well as in medical education. If you're trying to become a medical doctor, they are critically important. There are variables that they bring up that you would not have seen otherwise. They are a medley of different things put together into a real-world situation, and how you react to that is how you build that experience. Because if there's no way to determine if you're making the right or wrong answer, then simply by virtue of making an educated decision, you are making the right decision. If nobody else knows where to go, you just have to have the courage to take a step forward. Another thing that you learn from this. And this book is meant to be combined with other books that Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman wrote, as well as the Bible. And for me, I read a certain amount of the Bible every single day, and I was reading that in conjunction with this book, and it aligned ever so well. So I strongly recommend it to you. Really for everybody, but especially for those people in the veins that I described in the essay just a second ago. So if you have anything you want to talk about, any questions, any book recommendations you have for me, let me know. Send them my way. I'll look them up. But that's all I got for today. It gets a strong recommend on Spiritual Combat by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. All right, guys. Love y'all. Peace.